Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fine. In this part, we will be talking about the Whittaker's five kingdom classification system. In early lecture, we have discussed about the historical background, and I have also added about the history of taxonomy. Into that, we have also seen the contribution of some other scientists in the field of classification of the living organisms. Now, today we will be discussing about Whittaker's five kingdom classification system. We know that we have different classification systems like two kingdom classification system, kingdom classification system, four as well as six kingdom classification system. Then why we are using the five kingdom classification system to classify the living organisms? Because this classification system was proposed by R.H. Whittaker and he included all the natural characteristics of the living organisms so that the living this Whittaker's five kingdom classification system is a natural system of classification. Okay, so the Whittaker's five kingdom classification. So Whittaker's five kingdom classification, it is a natural classification system. Okay, and it is being based on different criteria. Okay, various natural criteria are there through which the Whittaker has proposed the five kingdom classification system. So, what are these criteria that we'll see, and according to that criteria, we'll uh, try to show the characteristics of the living organisms into that particular kingdoms. So, the criteria which was used by Whittaker was cell type. Now, what is meant by cell type here? See, most of the living organisms are made up of cells. Means all the living organisms are made up of cells. And these living organisms may have a simple type of cell or the complex type of cell. Okay, if the simple type of cell is there, if it is single cell, that is called unicellular organism. Whether this unicellular organism having all the cell organelles well developed or not well developed, according to that, it can be the prokaryotic or eukaryotic again. Okay, so that is under cell type. So he concluded these characteristic features. Okay, first of all, then second criteria he used for classification of the different living organism into different kingdoms was the presence of presence or absence of nuclear membrane. Okay, presence or absence of nuclear membrane. So what is nuclear membrane? The cells, they have a controlling center, and this controlling center is called as the nucleus, and this nucleus is surrounded by the nuclear membrane or the nuclear envelope, which encloses the genetic material of that organism. So here he also concluded this point, that is, if the cells are without nuclear membrane or their genetic material is without nuclear membrane, they should be placed in particular group. Okay, and then the organism with or their cells nucleus is with the nuclear membrane, they will be put into some separate group. So this was another criteria. Third criteria that he included was the presence or absence of cell wall. Okay, so we know that cell wall, it is the outermost part of the cell of an organism, and it is most probably protective in function. It provides the mechanical support to the cells. If we talk about unicellular organisms, in all the unicellular organisms we have the cell wall except mycoplasma, and in most of the eukaryotic cell also we find the cell wall except animal cell. So what is the main function? That is the protection. Okay. So on the basis of presence or absence of cell wall, he also concluded or he also grouped the animals into different categories. Living organisms into different categories. And fourth criteria he used was the mode of nutrition. Mode of nutrition. So what is meant by mode of nutrition? See, the mode of nutrition is that thing that organisms utilize their nutritive food material for their survival, for regulating their metabolic activities. Okay, so how these organisms utilize the nutrient from the surrounding. Okay, so there are three different categories. One, that is the organisms which are capable of synthesizing their own food material. Okay, these are called as the autotrophs. Okay, the organisms which are capable of synthesizing their own food material are called autotrophs. The organisms which depend upon the other organisms for their nutritional requirement are called as the heterotrophs. And the organisms which are depending upon the dead and decomposing organic material are called the saprophytes. So, in the autotrophic type of mode of nutrition, we can take an example of the plants and photosynthetic bacteria. Okay. In case of heterotrophs, we can take an example of the animals. Okay. And some of the protists again. We can take an example of some protists also. Then saprophytes. Generally, all fungi are saprophytes because we see the development of fungi on the dead and decomposing material. Take an example of mushrooms. Mushrooms are cultivated by spawning method. Okay, so for spawning we are using the dead organic material. Then these are the all fungi are generally saprophytes. The next the fifth category or the fifth criteria he used was the body organization or complexity of the cell. Okay, body organization. So according to body organization, we know that each and every living organism has a particular body organization. If we talk about microorganisms which are unicellular, they are made up of single cell. If we talk about the living organisms which are having a tissue level of organization like the invertebrates, okay, the organisms which are having organ level of organization, we can take an example of plants, some plants as well as animals, and the organ system level of organization. So different level of organizations are there. According to that also, we take and put the living organism into different kingdoms. Then another characteristic feature is on the basis of mode of reproduction. Okay, on the basis of mode of reproduction. So the organisms, whether they reproduce sexually, whether they reproduce asexually, or by the amitotic type of division. Because see, cell division is a type of reproduction. Okay, that is formation of new cell from the pre-existing one. Correct, but it can be said as reproduction in unicellular organism. In multicellular organism, it is the cell division. Okay. So either some organism they reproduce sexually, asexually. Okay. So in microorganism we can see like bacteria. We can see the reproduction by means of transformation is there, by means of transduction is there, and conjugation can also be seen. Then, in case of yeast, by formation of spores, by formation of the yes, conidiospores. Okay. Then, in case of penicillium, it is conidiospore again. Then, in case of plants, we can see there will be two types of reproduction. That is vegetative propagation or the vegetative reproduction. Reproduction with the help of parts of the green plant, and as the plants also plants also bear the flowers. This is nothing but a highly modified shoot meant for sexual reproduction. Then after that we have in animals, although they also possess the sexual type of reproduction. Okay, so these are the criteria which were used to execute the characteristics of the Whittaker's five kingdom classification. Now we'll see the criteria, or we'll put this criteria in an order that is from the lowest to the highest, and to identify the characteristics of living organism or to identify the characteristics of the different kingdoms. So here we'll go with the first. We are going from lower to the higher part. Okay. When we talk about the first character, that is here, complexity. Complexity of cell. Now, what do you get by complexity of cell? Whether the cell is more complex or less complex. If it is more complex, that means it may have different cellular organelles. The endomembrane system, it may include the Golgi bodies, it may include the endoplasmic reticulum, it may include the mitochondria, chloroplast, right? In case of plant, it is chloroplast. Then it may include the ribosomes, glyoxysomes, peroxisomes. Different cell organelles are there, which are included in the more complex cell. Okay. And what about less complex cell? The cells which do not have all this endomembrane system or the cell organelle within it. So these are under less complex. So we can write as the prokaryotes or the prokaryotic organisms under less complex, because prokaryotes are basically the primitive cells. The pro means primitive and karyon means nucleus. The organism which possess primitive nucleus, it is these are called as the prokaryotes. So generally examples which are seen under prokaryotes are the bacteria. Okay, and these bacteria are put into a kingdom called Monera. Okay, they are put into a kingdom called this Monera. Then what about another complex, that is the more complex eukaryotic? So eukaryotic organisms are the more complex type of organisms, right? Eukaryotic organisms are more complex, and when it is concerned about more complex, it may also include the multicellular organisms, because the multicellular organisms are also the eukaryotic type. They are not the prokaryotic type. Prokaryotics are the like bacteria. Okay, so or the microorganisms like bacteria are under prokaryotes, but all other cells or all other organisms except this bacteria are generally the eukaryotic type. So another characteristic or the another criteria is like complexity of cell organization. Cell organization. Okay. So when it comes to the complexity of cell organization, what comes that whether the cell is unicellular or multicellular. If it is a unicellular type of cell, then it comes under the protista, because the eukaryotes which are unicellular, they are considered as the protist, or and they are put under a kingdom called protista. Okay, then what about multicellular organisms? Multicellular organisms have different characters, and these characters can also be combined with the another criteria, that is the mode of nutrition. Okay, so we'll write here the mode of nutrition. So as we have discussed about it, as a mode of nutrition, three different types of nutritions are there, like organism which possess autotrophic type of nutrition, organism which possess the heterotype of nutrition, and organisms which possess saprophytic type of nutrition. Okay, so according to these three categories, three different kind of kingdoms can be seen. So generally autotrophs includes all plants. So we can also write the kingdom Plantae. It is included under autotrophs. Okay. Then all fungi are situated under saprophytes as they are depending upon the dead and decomposing material. Okay. So another mode of nutrition is the saprophytic. And here we can see all fungi. And third classification or the third major type of mode of nutrition is the heterotrophic. And this heterotrophic type of mode of nutrition is seen in the animals. So students, this is the way of classification. You can see here, this is the way of classifying the living organisms. Okay, and their respective kingdoms. So the lower most is the kingdom Monera, then next Protista, fungi, plantae, and animalia. So these are the different kingdoms. Now we'll make a table through which we can understand the characters of each kingdom. Okay, so we'll draw a table here with respect to their particular criteria or the characters. So in the first column, we'll write down the criteria. In second, we'll write kingdom Monera. In third, we'll write kingdom Protista. In fourth, we'll write kingdom fungi. Okay, this is kingdom fungi. Then kingdom plantae. And finally, we have kingdom animalia. Now, what are the different criteria? We have already discussed. So the first one is cell type, right? So according to cell type, under kingdom Monera, okay, under kingdom Monera, we can see the organisms which are involved are prokaryotes. Okay, and when it comes to the prokaryotes, they are generally unicellular again, right? In Protista, they are involved under the eukaryotes, that is unicellular eukaryote. That is unicellular. Okay, unicellular eukaryote. You can write here unicellular. Then in fungus has a thallus organization and which is a multicellular type of organization, but it is loosely arranged. It is not compact as like the plants or the animals. So it is loosely arranged. Okay, so these are also multicellular. And they have an exception except yeast. So this is about the fungi. Then or fungi cell type. In case of plantae, these are multicellular. Means all plants are multicellular. Okay, it's not like some plants are not having all the cells. They are also multicellular. Then animals, they are multicellular. Of course, they are multicellular. Then another criteria to explain the characters of the different kingdoms are the nuclear membrane. So presence or absence of the nuclear membrane. Okay. So nuclear envelope or the nuclear envelope, it is nuclear envelope or nuclear membrane, it is surrounding the nucleus, right? In case of prokaryotes, as we have discussed, these are primitive cells. They don't have the nuclear envelope, right? So nuclear envelope is absent. Okay. Here, in case of Protista, as these are eukaryotes, so there will be presence of the nuclear membrane. Okay. Then in fungi, they are also multicellular, and eukaryotes. So there is a presence of nuclear membrane. In plants also, they are also eukaryotic one. Okay, these are also eukaryotic one. So you can write here eukaryotes, and these are also eukaryotes. Okay, so these eukaryotes, as they are eukaryotes, they also possess the nuclear membrane. Okay, then another characteristic is the presence or absence of cell wall. Now, cell wall, it is most important component of a cell because most of the organisms, they possess the cell wall for the purpose of protection, right? So it provides the protection. In case of kingdom Monera, the prokaryotes, they possess the cell wall. They have the cell wall present. It is present, and it is made up of peptidoglycan. Peptidoglycan is a type of glycoprotein. Okay, it is a type of glycoprotein. In protists, some have cell wall. In case of fungi, cell wall is present and is made up of chitin. Now, chitin, it is also most abundant type of polysaccharide present on the earth, as it is found in the exoskeleton or the outermost part of the arthropods. And arthropod is the second largest phylum under kingdom Annelida. We will study about it when we will study about the arthropods. Okay. The next, plantae. These are also having the cell wall. So the cell wall is present and generally composed of cellulose. Sometimes it is also composed of heavy cellulose or pectin. Okay, and in that part of the plant, it is filled with the lignin. Okay, then in animals, the cell wall is absent. Okay, they don't have the cell wall. Okay, so that is the difference, and this is how we put different animals into different kingdom or different living organisms into different kingdom. Another criteria was the fourth one, nutrition, mode of nutrition. Generally, monerans are autotrophic, some are heterotrophic, and some are saprophytic. Okay, they have autotrophic. Why autotrophic? Because they some of the bacteria are capable of performing the photosynthetic activity. So they come under photosynthetic one. So they can synthesize their own food material, right? That is like blue-green algae and the or the cyanobacteria. Then heterotrophic or saprophytic. We know that most of the bacteria, they require host for their multiplication. They require nutrition from the host of itself. So they are some are heterotrophic as well as some are the saprophytic also. That depend upon dead and decomposing material. Protists, again, these are autotrophic. Some are autotrophic. Some are heterotrophic. Okay, and some may be the saprophytes also. It is also referred there parasites also. Means parasites means what? These grow in the body of the living organism for their nutritional requirement, for their mode of reproduction also. So they act as a parasites also sometimes. The next, fungi, they are all what? They are all saprophytes. As we have discussed about kingdom fungi is saprophytic, right? All are saprophytes. Then plantae, all are autotrophic. They synthesize their own food material by themselves and with the help of photosynthesis. as their cell possess chloroplast which help in the conversion of light energy into usable form of energy. And in animals, they have the heterotropic type of nutrition. Heterotropic type of nutrition. So you can see here different characteristic features. Okay. Last character that we are going to discuss here is the body organization. Okay, that is about the body organization. Some may possess the cellular level of body organization, some may possess the tissue or organ level of organization. Okay, so here you can mention or you can also leave that point. Okay, so these are the best criteria for classifying the characters of the living organisms. I hope you understand this topic. Okay, we will discuss about the kingdom Monera in the next part. Okay. Thank you.